Welcome back to the Endgame Ultimate Iron Man, where the current goal at hand is the combat achievements. In the previous episode, we finished all of the Dagonoth King tasks, took on the Phantom Muspa, and killed over 2,000 mole, and that brings us up to now. After finishing up all of the nest boxes from the previous episode, I've still got a little stack of unfinished Toadflax potions. I'm not going to go back to the mole. Instead, I'm going to use up all these noted U-logs. The mole gifted us a ton, and I know the perfect place to use them. With the release of Varlamore Part 3, we got the Vale Totems minigame, which is just a fletching activity. Another 2-for-1 special here. The rewards from this place are more bird's nests and the new fletching knife. This knife speeds up fletching activities by 1 tick, which doesn't sound like much, but that's about a 33% increase in speed if I wanted to fletch and sell the rest of these U-logs. I've got over 10,000 of them, so it definitely will save us some time. Also, the knife just so happens to be storable in the costume room, so we might as well go for it. Okay, so we are at Auburn Valley through the Fairy Ring code AIS, and the minigame pretty much just starts off right here. So here's briefly how the Vale Totems minigame works. There are 8 different totem locations around the Auburn Valley. At each of these locations there will be 3 different animal spirits, and you just need to craft the totem so that it matches whatever animals are roaming around. After that, you'll add whatever bow or fletching products you want to the totem. Once you've added those, you run to the next location, and so on. Some of these spots are fairly close to a bank, so you can grab more logs if you need. Obviously, I'm using noted U's, so I'll be needing to unnote every cycle. I will be teleporting to the crafting guild, then back to my house, and finally back to the Auburn Valley after each run. Also, I'm speeding things up with the log basket, since that also holds 28 different logs. If you're an ultimate and you don't have noted logs, then you're in luck because there are a variety of trees placed throughout the valley, so you can still easily partake even if you don't have the noted logs. And one more thing, the Veil offerings are what you received from each totem that you build, and these are essentially like your reward points. They are stackable, and 100 of them is equal to 1 roll on the table. I briefly mentioned it before, but you can get bird's nests from these. They don't come noted, but that's okay because we don't need that many. At this stage in my account, we don't really need that many other items here. The knife would be cool, but pretty much everything else will just be a drop. Also, don't forget to use the Totem Fletching plugin if you're on RuneLite. It's especially helpful because it will just highlight which animals you need to select so that you really don't even have to think about what you're doing. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention that I will still be doing farming runs in between this because I do have another stack of super strengths that I need to use up, and the only way to use those up is by making them into super combats. And so I spent a few hours here in the Auburn Valley creating random totems for these Ent spirits, stacking up my rewards until I finally said, let's jump right into it.
Oh shit. Damn, this guy's
I got an
hasty.
ant branch. I
Yo,
got the
ant
knife!
branch. You get the knife!
Oh
He
my
did it!
god!
I was here!
Yo, I was here.
Alright, everything else is
Wow.
worthless. Just delete it. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm leaving the stream.
Well, that was fun, I guess. Oh, I got U seeds. That's cool. So we did get quite lucky and pulled the knife right away. As I mentioned before, this is storable in the POH, so it's gonna sit in the costume room until I need it again. Well, we got the knife pretty quickly, and that was mostly what I wanted here. I did end up dropping most of the other loot, but I managed to get some seeds that I decided to keep. I also did get a spare fletching knife, which apparently you can sell back to the reward shop. So I did that, I sold the knife back, and I had enough points left over to buy the bowstring spool. I just wanted to buy this for the collection log, as it really has no use for me at the moment. And so with our Toadflax stack nearly gone, I decided to move on to farming contracts. I briefly mentioned this in the previous video, but farming contracts are going to be the best way for us to gather Cadentine and Irit seeds. These are necessary because I'll need plenty of those herbs to combine with my super strength stack. Also, I can finally free up this one space that's been clogging up my looting bag. Oh, dude, should I go for this?
What I TB'd?
So I've got a ton of seeds on me from doing all the farming contracts and turning into spirit seeds, but now I'm going to have to death bank because I'll need a free inventory for what I'm going to be doing next. And normally I'd go to Hispori, but I've been killing Hispori for the seeds, so we got to go to Vorkath. Alright, here's what we're going to be doing for the next few hours, now that we got the Fletching knife. That small detour to get the Fletching knife is actually going to save us a few hours while using up the rest of these noted U logs. Anyway, the method for this is pretty straightforward. This NPC functions as a bank and a general store, so it's really the best option for fletching and selling. This spot is also pretty good for making garbage potions or cutting and selling gems. So I spent a few hours here fletching, selling, and hopping worlds just to earn a little bit extra cash. We got about 2.5 mil for a few hours worth of work here, and we even managed to run into another UIM along the way. And in our final stretch to finish the last of the irids and catentines, I was searching for more sources of irit leaves, and found that the perilous moons actually dropped them quite frequently. So I took another detour once again to try and snag some more irids for my super combat potions. Oh shit. That's an item. Sweet. Holy shit. Alright, that's enough of the moons. I'm not going to be hanging on to these items, so I'm just going to sell them to the shop for a little bit of cash. 105k, not bad. And after much anticipation and build-up, I finally got enough herbs for the super attack and super defense potions. Fast forward, now we're here for the main event of making super combat potions. I've shown this method off before. Basically, we get 2 different sacks of vegetables and use those so that we can take out 5 of each herb at a time without needing to do any juggling at the Grand Exchange. It's a bit tedious, but this is really the only way to make super combat potions. After clearing up that space and making all of my super combat potions, I decided to take a break from doing the combat achievements because I wanted to try and focus on going for the imbued heart. Along the way, I did a lot of my tasks in the catacombs, so I ended up gathering a ton of dark totems for Skotizo kills, and consequently a lot of hard clue scrolls as well. So a decent amount of these upcoming clips will either be clues or Skotizo kills. Oh yeah, we got a lot of clues going on out here. So, in between Slayer tasks, I've been trying to do all of the clues that I received. However, the wilderness ones are obviously dangerous, and I don't want to death pile for each single one. So, the method that I came up with is to stack up about 5 or 10 clues and do them all at once so I can get them all out of the way at the same time. If you didn't know, death piling is the only way ultimates can go into the wilderness without the risk of losing all of their items. UIMs have a special death mechanic that lets our items sit on the floor for 1 hour of in-game time. However, if we don't pick up those items within the hour, then all of the items will be permanently deleted. Okay, so I finally finished all those clues. I got 17 hard clues stacked up. Well, how about we just jump right into it? Okay.
Trash.
Ooh. New collection.
There you go. That's a unique.
Another new collection. Let's go. Dang, not the back 3 back. Alright, I can store these. Store that. Oh, shit. That's the full Gothic set. I can finally take it out. That's sick. Too bad it's not very useful anymore.
Well, you can do that clue step with the Tears of Gothic guy now.
Oh, true. Garbage. 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 More garbage. More garbage. Master. Okay, back to the clues. Garbage. Garbage. Okay, what's that? Berserker necklace? Kinda cool.
Alright.
Oh, back to back? Armor shield? Let's go.
Those are super rare.
Alright, final clue. Dang, that's nothing new. Okay.
No dice.
And moving on to the master clue, how lucky am I that I got the Juna step with the Guthix items right after I completed that full Guthix D'hide set. Okay, now let's take this guy out. Oh my god, 36? And they gave me a looting bag. Go with the elite first. Okay, well we got another master. And for the master?
Oh, man.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's
whoa.
crazy. And after those clues, I was browsing through the Dude Where's My Stuff plugin, goated by the way, and I noticed that I never used my reward points from Guardians of the Rift on my way to 99 rune crafting over a year ago. So I decided to see what I could pull. What the hell is this? Oh my god, I got the pet!
No shot. That's crazy.
Oh my god, that's hilarious!
What pet?
The Guardians of the Rift.
Oh shit.
Dude, I was not expecting to get this pet. I was just gonna go here and maybe get a couple of clogs and sell the extra runes for some money, but dang, that is nice to see. Crazy. Well, I guess I'll buy the ring, because that's a clog. Okay, let's buy another ring, and let's buy 2 blood talismans, and I think we just drop the rest. Sweet, so that is a couple mil to the bond alt. And for the rest of the runes, for the ones I'm not going to be keeping, I'm just going to sell these to Ollie Morrison. Ollie Morrison is the best place to sell runes because the price never changes, so you end up getting a really good value for your runes. And after selling all the runes to Ollie Morrison, I ended up with about 860k. Okay, got 4 caskets stacked up from some Slayer. Let's see what we get. Oh, cool. New collection. Alright, and there are the clues. Oh yeah, and that last Ancient D'hide piece was actually the final piece to complete the set, so now I can freely take it in and out. Would have been kind of cool if I still needed to do next, but still kind of a cool set to complete. If anyone else out there is an Iron Man and hunting the Imbued Heart, I would strongly suggest getting a cannon for Smoke Devils. Previously, I used to tag them all individually, but now I just let the cannon fire away and it makes this Slayer task much more relaxed. And while doing some more Slayer in the Catacombs, I managed to get myself another Dark Totem, so you know what that means. I swear this guy has like the longest death animation. Oh my god! And the Dark Claw? No way! No way. That's that's crazy. Well, I guess since we got these Dark Claws, you can actually store them, and I'll show you how in just a sec. I can't believe that we actually got the pet and the claw in the same kill. A bit under rate too. The Skotizo pet is 1 out of 65, which doesn't sound like much, but when you consider that you need a totem for each kill, then it really starts to add up. Anyway, I don't really want to drop these claws, and I've got 2 options. I can either turn this into a Slayer helm, or I can turn it into some flippers. The flippers are a 1 in 64 drop from the Mogres, so let's go get ourselves a pair. After we get these flippers, we can take both the Dark Claws and the flippers to Patchy on Mossley Harmless. Patchy will combine different items together. So, for a small amount of coins, he will give us the Dark Flippers. Oh my god, that was only like 10 kills. Okay. There it is. Dark Flippers. Yes, proceed. Nice. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention these are storable in the POH. They're not super useful. They let you swim faster underwater, but I don't really know where we would be using that. Alright, I stacked up a few clues from Slayer, so let's see what we got. Let's start with the Elite. Yeah, that's about what I expected. And now I've got 8 hards. Ooh, new collection. Sweet. Okay, anyway. Alright. And that's that. So, during the Slayer grind, one of the best tasks for the imbued heart is Araxites. The superior variants drop the heart at a rate of 1 in 224, but the issue is that these guys will inflict venom instantly, and in order to make anti-venoms you need a whole complicated list of ingredients. An extended anti-venom plus gives about 6 minutes of venom immunity. If I want to make one of those, I need to combine an Araxite venom sac with an anti-venom plus. To make the anti-venom plus, I need an anti-venom and a Torsol, and to make that, I need an Antidote plus plus and Zora scales. And to make an Antidote plus plus, I need coconut milk, irit leaf, and magic roots. Are you lost yet? Yeah, that's a lot to take in. However, I can sort of skip some of this potion making because Zora drops 10 4-dose Antidote plus plus fairly regularly, and the rest of the items to make the final version of the anti-venom are relatively easy to obtain. So I will periodically be going for Zora kills so that I can fund my anti-venoms. Oh my god. I wasn't even recording, but I got the recording up as quick as I can. Because yeah, that was the first kill. Jar of Swamp. That's crazy. Well, in regular fashion, whenever I get a new jar, yeah, I like to swap it out and make that the most current one, so let's do that. Sweet. Casket!
Now that's what I call garbage.
Alright, so we finally got some antidotes for those anti-venoms, and after this I'm going to hit up Hisphori to reorganize everything. And we are now going to be gearing up for something new. Most of this video was just maintenance and didn't really have a ton of action, but progress nonetheless. Getting 2 pets in one video was pretty crazy, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever be able to top that again without really trying. Plus, the clue scrolls are always fun to open. I like to show this type of bag cleanup miscellaneous content because it's easy to overlook the amount of time required in order to prep on an iron, and especially an ultimate. So my goal is to show everyone how it's done, and maybe it's somewhat of a loose guide to other ultimates out there. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the combat achievements. They are just going to have to wait until the next video, where I make the final push towards the master tier. Alright, so I'm actually really thankful that this video came out because I was having a ton of software issues. I ended up trying to update my editing program, and that corrupted my project file, so basically I had to make this video twice, and that alone deserves a like. Anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.